dance or just have a seat and listen to the way what I am slaying. A different kind of rapper language that I am saying. The whole party people that enjoy the beautiful. When it comes to rock parties, I am a nympho, maniac. But doing my dancing, my record make the music. We'll put you in a trance and transcend your body and like it. You won't be fighting the hill, you're just partying down. What the fuck is how it yours truly? I'm the original VIP of it. Okay, I will be and I think to have fun and not be number one. And just here to let you know who's like running the place and everywhere that I perform to do a show. As long as you know that. Nobody beats the best. 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 You know me as the I go for what I know, doing the show for you. I'm guaranteed to rock, I make the ladies scream and shout. I'm out to wreck your body and say turn the party out. The party rapper, no chapter, always have a form. And when you get the Biz Monkey, I get the dog. I guess I'm the M and all the guy. You know that speed. I got a set to keep it, check my speed is so unique. So they say I look a town funny, but I don't. I'm out the like water rooftop, being wet and Roseland. The odds are that's a cigar, even my foot works at Java Center. Part of the way that I'll be talking about the places I be rocking. I love to perform for the people that be rocking. I say that your own mind don't want it, like don't want it. Let you pay for the performance. Good on it, you want it. That's why I'm here to be like letting you know it. But I'm a highly recognized as the king gets it stolen. Making people never have a lot of enjoyment. I'm the best person for this type of employment. That's why. Nobody beats the best. Nobody beats the best. Nobody beats the best. Nobody beats the best. When you buy some cheap, you need a food. Wanna catch a sell retail before it gets stale. So hurry up and take the wig. Check out the bells and the sound non-stop. But how I hit pop on the mic and like make you go operate with the rhythm. That is what I give them. Breaking is the but I voted for Shirley Chisholm. It might sound confusing, the style that I'm using. But in the end, I'm sure that you will find it amusing and funny. Oh, money. It's just ridiculous. Don't try to front. Come on, it is. Get you with thrill. Chill. Y'all was a fill. So respect the architect as I put it to build. Science of our alliance is a form of rap. Like Carl Lewis, I get to it. So let's go to last. Go to rap. Nobody beats the best. 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 My name is Teacher One. Nobody beats the best. I rock you on and on. Nobody beats the best. You know the fighter beats the best. I know the fighter beats the best. Nobody beats the best. Nobody beats the best. Nobody beats the best. Nobody beats the
Hello. It is I, your fiduciary fam, Alonzo Hall, the All-Star Advisor. And I have returned today to do a little bit of table talk, but there's a hot topic that I want to touch right quick. and it's a little confusing. There's conflicting stories. It's about a rapper by the name of Biz Markie. To all you young bucks out there, you might not know who that is, but he's a pioneer in the game, and he's almost 60 at 57 years old. And there's news out that says that he's died, but then his family also came with some conflicting news. So I was coming up here to just shoot the breeze at first and actually have a different discussion. But this had come across my timeline, and ironically enough, right after another story that's conflicting. So we see this often. We had the whole thing with Bill Cosby, and then other celebrities try to get in there. So I thought that was kind of weird. At any rate, I actually want to bring somebody up because he's who brought me the conflicting point and actually had us inspired me to go live, because we were talking and he was like, "Yo, you heard Biz Markie died?" And then we started Googling it. So Matt, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up. And what's going
Yes,
on, brother?
sir.
How are you?
Nah, everything good. How
What's
you
going
doing, man?
on? I can't complain. I can't complain.
So,
Well, I heard that uh Biz Markie died, and I reacted like, "Oh my god," because that was shocking to me. I'm a bit of a fan, and then we have conflicting arguments now saying an hour later that he's not dead, right?
yeah, his publicist says in response to the death rumor that he is alive. Biz Markie, uh, real name Marcel Theo Hall. Uh, maybe related to you or no relations. I don't know, but
Hmm.
you know, it was pronounced that he was dead last night, and it swept through all social media, through Twitter, through Instagram, and through Facebook. And 8 hours ago, his family released a statement that he wasn't. That he hasn't died. And Rollins Martin or Twitter has been in contact with sources who are texting and talking to his wife. The source talked to Biz today. Per his wife, Biz has not passed away. So they want to please stop responding to non-credible sources. This hurt the family and the friends and the fans and everything else, which is crazy. If it was a publicity stunt, then hey, you know what? Uh, Views are going up on YouTube because I myself, once I saw that he had passed away, or they say he passed away, I went straight to YouTube and I was looking at his videos, and I'm looking at the response and everything in the comments from his videos,
Hmm.
and it's rest in peace. I even said my, sleep in peace and sleep in heaven and all of that. Um, it's just one of those things. You can't always believe what you read and what you hear and what you see on social media.
Hmm.
But still, we haven't heard from Biz himself.
Right.
So, whether who's to say he's alive, who's to say he's not, we don't know. As a fan, I hope for the best. You know.
Exactly. Same here. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. No fears on nothing on earth, like
You
Nas
know.
said. Hmm.
So
Yeah. Go ahead. You were about to finish your statement.
so yeah. In my closing remarks with that, the official statement from uh his family is the passing is not true, and he is under medical care, surrounded by professionals who are working hard to provide him with the support that he needs. You know,
So basically, he's on life support.
I'm not going to say that. I don't know. It doesn't say. It doesn't go that far into it. So to say that would be speculating.
Speculative. Okay. Just like saying he's dead would be speculative. You
You
don't
know,
know.
it really is. Cause your response, which is, I don't want to laugh, but your response to when I told you, like, oh, there's Marquis died, and you did that high pitch, what? It was
Yeah.
the best. I would. It was the best. But somebody's life or death is not a funny matter. So let me
Right.
not let me not make light of that.
Understandably so. So at any rate, man, um, I was I just found that to be kind of odd and funny. So since I have you up here, and you are newly married, I'm gonna ask you the stereotypical question: how's married life?
You all right? You want the pretty lie or the ugly truth?
I want the ugly lie.
No, the you want the pretty lie.
No.
you all right? So you want the ugly lie? It's everything I want and more.
Now, what's the pretty truth?
It's a shit show. Like yeah, oh man, but it's not. Marriage is not about being perfect and whatnot. It's about loving somebody and accepting their faults. That's why you marry them. Like,
Okay, so let me
but
ask you this: um, do you think your wife is submissive to you?
do I think she can be?
Okay, so let's clarify this, because in a lot of spaces you'll have men who will say, I want a woman who's submissive, and then you'll have women who will be like, well, I'll submit to a man who's worth it. What do you think submission is?
See, all right, I'm gonna put it like this. All right? Marriage is give and take.
Well,
It,
I understand that that's marriage, but
no,
what's
not
submission?
no, but I'm saying marriage is give and take, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're gonna go, let's go into the alpha and beta thing because I hear a lot of people talk about that. I am, I am a alpha.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can say something, or she can ask me something, and I don't agree with it, or she want to do something. I can shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the final word is mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You provide, support, and protect. Now, that being said, I cannot say that we are not equal because we are equal. She will take, you know what happened to me.
Right.
Currently, I can't do it. I can't do a lot of things. So she's taking up the slack, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and she's the head of, I'm the head of the household, but that if I'm the king, that's my queen. If this is chess, she protects her king.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I can only move one spot at a time. She can clear that whole board out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how. There's
Okay, I
nothing
get
else.
that.
There's nothing else to say on that. Like you got some
But
people that want a submissive wife to tell them what to do and
mhm.
look down on them, but no, then that's not real marriage.
Well, what
That's not a
is submissive
companionship.
is the question. So
My
I
submission
understand what you're
to,
saying, but what is submissive?
in my relationship
Mm-hmm.
or in general.
Well, in general, as a man, right? Because what we're looking at is that we have a lot of men who say, listen, if you were, what we ask for is a cooperative woman, right? Which you have. And what we ask for, though, is, well, I want someone who will submit to me. Well, what is submitting? Because
Well,
then you'll hear women
submit.
argue. Hold on,
Well,
let me finish. What you'll hear women say is, I'll submit when you give me something to submit to. So, maybe we don't have a clear definition of what submission is. So from a couple of men who are married, let's try to figure that out together.
okay. Well, here's a clear line definition of submission. You know what I mean? Or submissive. You know what I mean? To be submissive is to obey or yield to someone else. That's clear and cut. When you are submissive, you submit to someone else's will, which literally you put your own desires lower than theirs. That is being submissive. You can't get no clear cut than that. You know, anybody that wants somebody to obey or yield, fuck the yield, want somebody to obey them. Like talk about that word obey. Because to be submissive is to obey, right or wrong.
Mhm. Touche. Right.
Do you really want somebody to obey you to to put their own stuff lower, put their own desires lower than yours? Are they not
No,
important to you?
no, I need someone who stands on something. For example, did you see Coming to America Part 2?
Which are okay, yes.
Okay. Even in Part 1, the betrothed or the arranged was very subservient.
Mm-hmm.
And the kings, neither one of the princes wanted that. They wanted someone who stood on her own laurels in some aspects. Because in my book, in terms of, like you said, the queen protects the king and the king can only move one space at a time. But if we're looking at an aristocracy and I'm ruling, and because you have to, so you'll have, like, these spaces, you have red pill, blue pill, manosphere, black pill, all this other stuff. And you also have a married space, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you have to look at it like this. In terms of ruling or an aristocracy, if I'm going to be ruling, I want my betrothed, even if I have a harem of concubines. I've heard actually a dude say he wants a harem out here. And that kind of flipped me. I was like, dude, you want a harem, but I'm telling you to set up a financial plan. And then you say, well, it's retarded to plan for kids that I don't have yet, but you're planning for a harem. So that's a bunch of women you're probably going to get pregnant, which means you're probably a chronic masturbator, but that's something else. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't going to go there. So when you're ruling, you want, even with concubines, you want the person whom you're ruling with to be, number one, of a certain class, and number two, of a certain mindset, because they're going to have to assist you in ruling, right? You can't bring for example, that Prince in Coming to America. He can't bring that super subservient woman to a NATO meeting where he's meeting with nations. Why? The NATO ball, because she won't be able to handle herself amongst the other women or the aristocrats there if she's just completely Stepford wife, right? And she won't be able to schmooze him into, maybe the single guy who's jealous of the wife and is like, well, maybe I can hit on her. Yeah, go ahead. Go let him hit on you and then make sure that he signs that contract. So in terms of submission, like you said, I think it is yielding, right? So when you're yielding, it doesn't mean, oh, let me bring you your slippers and pipe. And it doesn't mean, oh, let me rub your feet when you come home, mother goddess queen, let me drink your bathwater. I think both the husband and the wife, or the king and the queen, have to submit to each other to be complete, right?
Correct.
Like you said, the king moves one piece at a time, but the queen can clear the whole board. But the king has to have the vision to see the whole board and say, hey, queen, you can go over there. I've got pawns to protect you. I've got knights and bishops to protect you. In moving with me.
So let me just finish that one by saying I'm gonna talk about my relationship. It's cool, bro. It's cool. I got hurt. I got nerve damage. My wife, without me even asking, rubs my feet or rubs my foot or rubs my leg. She cooks dinner. She does the laundry. She goes shopping. I mean, the little things that most people take for granted is big. Now, while she's doing that, if you ask, what do you do? Well, up until a certain point, I was working. I was out every day. If this is old school, I was hunting. Now I'm here, so now we have to split that responsibility as much as we can. So, plus we got kids. So, you know, fellas, and ladies, I mean, you do have to you gotta have communication. And that's the biggest part of this is communicating. Do you want somebody that's just gonna be how they say a yes person and just at your whim, like, yes, I'll do this and yes, I'll do that. No, it's get tired. You want somebody who you can talk to, who you can have a conversation with. Hell, even the arguments are fun because the making up is the best part. Like for real, like I don't there's no other way to put it. But that's just my take on that one.
Nah, fair.
But
Give me 1 second. I'm checking
so
something.
let me touch on something real quick though.
Go ahead.
I've been seeing a lot of people mad about Mr. Cosby being released from
Mhm.
jail or prison, whatever, right? Felicia Rashad has been getting a lot of flack for her support of him. Um, how do you feel about this?
About Cosby?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm be honest, man. Let the man free. I never really thought too much of it in terms of these quaaludes and stuff, man. Listen, it's that period of time, and being a man who I've been in situations, man, and I'm not tooting my own horn and nothing like that, but I've been in situations where women throw themselves on you, right? And if you don't accept, then they turn it around and say you did something to them because you didn't. I had a situation where I remember I was dating this girl, and I met this other girl, and we was chilling, hanging out, smoking. And she was like, "Yo, let's f around." And I was like, "No." She was like, "If you don't screw me, I'm gonna call your girl and tell her that we had sex." And I'm like, "What? That doesn't even make sense. Why would you do that?" Because she was trying to force me to have sex with her, and I'm like, "Yo, that." So it's difficult, especially when it's a man of means and stature, especially when there weren't things like cameras all over like there are today. Today, somebody do that, you could be like, I'm taping you, chick. But, back in the 70s, you couldn't. Back in the 60s, you shoot. Back in the early 2000s, you really couldn't. So, it I don't know. I'm pretty ambivalent. I'm being honest. Dude is old. They let Takashi 6ix9ine out for good behavior of COVID, and this Fruit Loop is running around crazy, spilling degradation. At least Bill Cosby had some positive stuff. He inspired Platinum Fubu, for goodness sakes, with the Fat Albert characters. Obviously, there was the actual Fat Albert. But look, Malcolm Jamal Warner, how much media has come after him, right? So even if he was, a guilty individual, that does not and should not erase his impact on history as a positive image in Black media. See, they erase that, just like for so-called offensiveness after hundreds of years. Yeah, we had Aunt Jemima, but at least she was a Black logo. Now they took her off. Well, they did the same thing with Uncle Ben's rice, and now it's Ben's original. So now we don't even have those as logos, right? And then I have a problem also with Juneteenth. And you say, why? Well, it's a holiday. It allows us, freedom. Well, yeah, that's great. We got a day off now, but 50 years in the future, they can now break away the actual history of slavery because little children won't understand the true impact and meaning of Juneteenth. That people were free, supposedly, but it took until June 19th, years later, for people to find out that they were free. How does that happen? Shouldn't everybody have gone through you were able to ride through and tell us the redcoats were coming. So you can't tell folks that they're free.
yeah. Don't shoot. Yeah, don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes. That's what's taught in class, right?
Right. But it's just like right now in school books, they're teaching the transatlantic slave trade as indentured servitude. And I
No, they're
go to
treating it
places
as
on
they wanted to
Facebook.
come over
Hold
here.
on. I go to places on Facebook and other places, and people will say things and then get offended by words I say. And I'll say things like, well, try being a black man in America. And they'll be like, oh, don't play the race card. And that's part of playing the race card, is you saying I'm playing a race card because you know that there's discrimination because I'm black. How do I know? For the simple fact that I have a video of today, and I'm talking about amongst professionals that I belong to, Facebook groups with other financial professionals, and I have arguments with them. Meanwhile, we don't talk about the fact that on Wall Street there's jokes. What's the difference between a black man and a pizza? A pizza can feed a family of 4. Ha 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 ha. This is the type of things that we hear while I'm on Wall Street. While y'all calling us coons and jigaboos, we sitting here trying to keep it right and keep it correct and teach y'all about generational wealth and shit. And we got to hear a cracker tell me the difference between me and a pizza is that a pizza can feed a family of 4. I'm sorry. I'm going to get ready to hop off soon because you've got things to do and I have an appointment shortly. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. But today, 2021, there's an article of a judge in Georgia who threw out a case saying that it wasn't a discriminatory practice from a life insurance company to prey on black people with subpar life insurance policies. I sat with a man last night who said he wanted $10 million of life insurance, and I was battling with someone from Primerica who's just like, oh yeah, just write a $10 million 30-year term and get up out of there. Why should he get a cash value policy? And then I had to sit down with this client and break down, well, first of all, who comes up with that number, $10 million? You obviously have some things you want to protect and provide for. Otherwise, you wouldn't ask for $10 million. But if you're just going to get a $10 million term for why? Because it's $500 a month? Oh, that's cheap. Okay. But if you don't die in 10 years, then let's go to the corner and let's shoot craps with them Pookies and Ray Rays that you don't like. Because you're taking the same gamble, shooting craps with them, maybe throwing a 4, 5, 6, somebody disliking it, thinking you was hitting all night, your pieces is hitting, and now they clapping. Right? Or you can be this uptight, uppity-ass Negro in your boss suit that pays $500 a month for a $10 million policy and fucking gambles and loses your corporation and all this shit, because I ain't got kids yet, but you're planning for your fucking business, and then you're complaining about the women, but then you're not even planning to protect or provide for this fucking generation of this shit that you say you building. Fuck out of here. I'm sorry. Chronicles, you any last remarks, sir?
Oh yeah. Check out the Chronicles. Don't believe everything you see and everything you hear. Check your sources and try to be better today than you were yesterday. Try to be better tomorrow than you are today. Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I almost dropped my mouse. Like I always like to say, remember, wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And lastly, remember, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge.
Let me talk. They couldn't bring me down, but they tried to.
You never leave hell with a
That's why I
Die slow. I open the phantom doors with the whole say to that. The niggas that know me like the old nigga got like Mac fire out of one of these niggas. Whoop. Ex bitch sucked it all, call her plenty mouth. Make a break. Make them levitate. How you real when you protect his fate. When you're shooting when you never let it escalate. Let your future be your yesterday. Oh Lord, I'm really needing you. Save me from these fake ass killers on social media. Dick riders swallow balloons and blow out helium. They all been it, they all gimmick. Mob business. All in it. Stood up in it like fucking tall bitches. Niggas that came home blow money on young strippers. Maynard was the one, but never promoted right. Like shots to the back of my head won't be my legacy. I'm feeling like it's just me versus the industry. Brought a brick of coke with my first advance. Duffel bag. This is my real life, never for the gram. I need it. Streets need it. Demons. I am God, I box devils and speak Jesus. Get drunk, lit pussy the first night. I'm up nights. I promise you I'm trying to snatch the air from these niggas. Cause I'm running down like a grizzly bear on these niggas. Don't come back in this house with no else, man. Couple shots that'll melt the pain. Remember when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.